How Europe is replacing China and the US, business beyond. Welcome to the Daily Nines. After decades of stalled talks, Europe has reached a trade turning point. In just the last 18 months, the European Union has gone on a deal-signing spree, inking mammoth pacts with India, Indonesia, and Australia. And the Mercosur bloc of Brazil, Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay, this isn't just business as usual. It's a story about how the world recalibrates when the US goes rogue with tariffs and Europe races to rely less on China. Today, how Europe is replacing China and the US in the new global trading order. 1 year after Trump's tariff body blow, what do we really know about the reset emerging from the chaos? Let's rewind. For years, Europe leaned heavily on two giants, the US for security and China for manufacturing. Then came 2025. President Trump slapped discriminatory tariffs across the board, hitting EU goods with rates up to 15%. The message was clear: America first meant Europe second. German exporters felt the immediate pain. At the same time, China's dominance in EVs, solar, and rare earths became a strategic liability for Brussels. Beijing's export controls flooded Europe with cheap goods. De-risking went from a slogan to a survival strategy. Enter Europe's answer, a trade reset. No more putting all eggs in two baskets. Brussels is building a new web. Building a web of reliable middle powers hungry for European technology, investment, and high standards. The result? A new trading order where Europe positions itself as the stable alternative to the superpowers. Spotlight on the biggest prize, the EU-Mercosur Partnership Agreement, signed January 17, 2026. Signed after 25 years of talks. Provisional application kicks in this May, covering 700 million people. It covers a quarter of global GDP. What does Europe want? Two things above all else. First, critical minerals. Brazil holds massive deposits of lithium, niobium, and graphite vital for batteries. Vital for Europe's EV batteries and wind turbines. The deal secures supply chains away from China's stranglehold. No more weaponized minerals. Second, new customers for Europe's ailing auto giants struggling with costs. Mercosur slashes tariffs on EU vehicles and parts, from 35% down sharply in year one. That opens doors in South America's booming markets for German, French, and Italian engineering. In return, Mercosur gets access to European markets for beef, soy, sugar, and ethanol with ironclad safeguards. The EU built in bilateral triggers to pause imports if European farmers get flooded by the sudden surge. Environmental chapters demand sustainable practices, addressing Amazon deforestation fears that stalled the deal for years. Critics called it hypocritical. Farmers protested in Paris and Brussels, yet the Commission pushed through. Because in a world of tariff chaos, access to resources and growth markets trumps perfection. Mercosur isn't alone. With India, the mother of all deals concluded in 2026, tariffs are slashed. Machinery, chemicals, and pharma flow freer. 2 billion people and a quarter of global GDP unlocked. Indonesia's SEPA liberalizes 98% of trade, tapping Southeast Asia's largest economy. Australia's FTA, signed March 2026, boosts EU exports by 33%, especially cars and dairy. These aren't random. They target growth engines rich in resources and eager for European know-how. Combined, they slash Europe's dependence on Washington's unpredictability and Beijing's leverage. Middle powers notice. They're tired of US tariff whiplash and Chinese debt trap diplomacy. Europe's offer carries weight. But past hypocrisies linger. Critics ask, is this genuine partnership or desperate diversification? As middle powers like India and Brazil wield more clout, they demand reciprocity, not more lectures. A year out from Trump's tariff shock, the new order is clear. Multipolar, pragmatic, and less US-centered. Europe isn't replacing the US or China, but it is building the bridges that keep global trade flowing. Can Europe turn these paper deals into real resilience before the next shock hits? Masterstroke or too late? Tell us in the comments what you think. See you next time on the Daily Nines. Like and subscribe.